I get teary-eyed, just forgive me, when you get older, you do get very sentimental, you're just like, oh. So, well, what my job was, it was such a privilege to work with Jenny and Andy and all of the folks, but my job was as spokesperson, and I knew that we had to keep, there was a quiet period there after a
Use
while.
the mic.
There was a quiet period after a while, so I knew that we needed to keep this issue before the public, and that's what we did. And Jenny and always had connections to the county, and they would tell us, oh, something's happening here, this is what happens, next decision. Things that were not known, and so we'd always jump on that, call out a newsreel, press conference, because we always had something new to share with them, and they were hungry for it. They came, so we were very fortunate about that. And in July of '79, the group was approached by the Cincinnati Post to write an opinion piece, which we titled, "The Zimmer Debate, What We Have Learned Has Frightened Us." And we were happy to do that to help educate the community and ourselves about the dangers, historic dangers of nuclear power. And at that time, we were looking at some of the things that are coming out there. And one of the things that really struck us, it was kind of frightening. We found out that we kept hearing the word LPZ zone, LPZ zone. We said, what is the LPZ zone? It's called low population zone. And to me, that connotes you're not important, who cares, what happens to you? And so that really got our ire up. So as a result of the Post opinion, we were invited by the media, Channel 5, to create and film a PSA, or under the Freedom of Information Act, that was a public service announcement, which we did, and we named the dangers of low-level radiation and all of that. It's always a we, Jenny. And then it was good, and it raised a lot of interest from other people, and so we began like, oh, these people are, maybe they know what they're talking about. And so that was great, and there were so many things that went on. This can go on exhaustingly, but anecdotally, I have to say that it was vital to keep the issue of Zimmer safety concerns before the public and the media, and evacuation plans, obviously. And as we became a local voice of opposition to Zimmer, we were interviewed by media from Cincinnati, Dayton, and Columbus, and we had a lot of outreach. I did a lot of outreach to Cincinnati, the Women's Club, and over the Rhine, and with regard to, did they know that all of this money was going into their rate base and all of those things. And one of the most interesting invitations I got at that time was an invitation from the UC Nuclear Club. And he said they wanted to debate me on this topic, and I thought, wow, we ate and slept nuclear power, nuclear radiation, dangers, all of that, and at the time I thought I knew a lot, and so I met them at the UC, and I did. It took a little bit of time before they were vested, and they did not, they were young, they were actually boys, and you know about that. And
Sounds like a stereotype.
Well, it was actually. But really, what was so interesting was that what stopped me in my tracks was they showed me, they were giddy, they wanted to show me something that was really interesting. And so I went around and we went to this part of the department, and there was this very deep pool of water, and down at the bottom were loaded fuel rods, which scared the hell out of me. And I just got out of there. I said, okay, bye, I'll see you later. I thought, how interesting, that they thought it was just so nifty to have it. And then one other thing, as far as we asked Ralph Nader to come and speak. And so we hired the field house, and we were just so excited, and we knew that would get a lot of interest. And the ticket sales were brisk and all that, but kind of true to form, the afternoon of the event, Nader informed us he had missed his plane and he wasn't gonna be able to attend. I said, well, that's, so we had to quickly cancel the venue and refund the ticket money, and that was a debacle. And fortunately, UC handled the refunds, and Zach was not liable. Hallelujah. One other event, thank you, and it's so heavy. In September, 1992, with the help of KIT and GAP, we, members of ZAC, traveled to Washington, D.C. to be featured at a press conference at the Union of Concerned Scientists. We focused on safety violations and the faulty process by which the NRC gave approval to C&G to proceed with the licensing approval. Next, we tracked down Representative Tom Lucan outside of Senator Morris Udall's hearings on safety concerns at Zimmer. And after a group of reporters asked, well, what were we there for? What was the problem? So we gave them an earful. And we also mentioned that Senator, I guess he was a representative, suddenly was ignoring us. We had these concerns, and as they could see, there was a reason to be concerned, but he was ignoring us. He would not talk with us. It was kind of being mischievous in that. I just thought, no, I'll stick it to him. But so then, there was a great, and it's over on the table in the back, it was a great interview with the rest, with the media, the Inquirer, and great photos too of all of us. And it said Zimmer critic raps nuclear audit power. And after that, Lucan came on board, so did Mayor Mann, who ignored us several times, and everybody joined the band. So, do you have any? Okay, I want one other final statement here, and I think we've all heard it. And that is that, that's all right, it's fine, thank you. We were so grateful to everyone who participated in this. And, you know, I remember being in the hospital for GAP people when they came to town. We put them up and became friends. It was just wonderful to be there and be in the thick of things. And we want we thank everyone. I do, Jenny and I and everyone else, you know, about the work that you all did and the organizations and everything. And it was such an education for all of us, I think. I think we all moved on to something that involved, you know, an enrichment of our lives, you know, and even what we do for a living and all of that. And I think a fitting epilogue is Margaret Mead's assertion, never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has.